Hi all, welcome to LearnStroke IAS classes by Arjun. And today we are discussing the most important aspect of current affairs because 2024 examination is just on the way. And current affairs is one of the most toughest thing, the most difficult thing for every aspirant who is preparing for civil services. So I think that is the reason why we have a very good session where where I've just collected a lot of important topics for the exam, especially which is very important for the 2024 examination. So, good evening, all, and welcome to LearnStroke IAS classes by Arjun once again. So, we are going for the first important topic, current affairs for 2024 UPSC examination. So, as you all know, current affairs is the most difficult topic for a lot of people, especially when you go for the civil service examination, especially the civil service examination, whether it is the prelims or the mains examination. What normally happens is most of the question, I would say in the UPSC examination, you can clearly see that more than 60 to 70% of the questions are completely current affairs based. So this is the most important aspect, as a lot of people find it very difficult to read the newspapers. They do not understand the concepts, and even there is one more important thing, a lot of people do not read it, press information bureau, where you get all the important releases of the government itself. So that is why current affairs become very tough for a lot of aspirants. So in this session, we thought a lot of people out here will be definitely trying for 2024 examination. So people who are looking for 2024 examination, we have got a full series of current affairs topics. And let me also very clearly tell you that in this session, I am not going to tell you each and every topic, but we are going to discuss a larger topic. That means we are going to discuss a larger topic and a larger issue, which is very relevant for 2024 examination. And we will have a lot of such sessions like this, and definitely a lot of classes like this will be taken. So we will cover the most important topics in detail itself. So I think let's quickly move on to the first important. So before that, let's begin this 2024 current affairs session. In the meanwhile, all of you can actually download. If you have not downloaded LearnStroke IAS app, you can just go to the Play Store and download it. You can just see, as you can see in the screen, there are a lot of important free videos that you can watch. And especially for 2024, if you're looking forward for that, we do have a 150 days revision plan in the app where you get more than 500 plus videos. So a lot of things, including test series, mentoring. So look out, definitely download the LearnStroke IAS app. It's going to give you a good impact on your preparation. So definitely look on that. And definitely, I think people around here, a lot of people across this country is watching. People who are in Kerala, if you are definitely here, if you want to interact with me, definitely Future Next IAS is our offline brand. LearnStroke is our online brand. So definitely feel free to come in Thrissur, Calicut, and Kannur itself. Okay, so that was the introduction part, and let's go into the first important topic. Here we go to the first important session. Something that appeared in the newspaper is Har Ghar Jal target. So, have you heard about this topic? That is the key topic that we want to discuss here. The Har Ghar Jal target. So, a lot of times you must have read about the Jal Jeevan mission. The problem is you know about this content, but what happens is, are you able to convert this topic into the prelims MCQ level as well as the mains writing level? So, what is this Jal Jeevan mission? So, as I said, in this class, we'll definitely discuss each and every topic in detail. So, water mission may miss target 2024. So, in this, we need to understand what do you mean by Har Ghar Jal. So, let's quickly move on to the next important content here itself. And let's go. So, what is this Jal Jeevan mission? You can clearly understand what is this Jal Jeevan mission. Water is the most important thing that everybody wants, and Jal Jeevan mission is definitely an initiative by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Very important. These are the important areas that they normally ask in the prelims as options. And the Jal Jeevan mission is envisioned to provide safe drinking water through individual household, and you can see a good clue in this picture. I've marked a tap. That means Jal Jeevan Mission has a bigger concept called Har Ghar Jal, means by 2024, almost all the rural households, rural people in India will actually get water to a tap. So this is again a very important thing, because you know that not all the states in India have equal access to water. Look at the states regarding Rajasthan, Gujarat, and states which are low deficient in water. So this is a great target under Ministry of Jal Shakti. And what is the status of this? So we have to understand what is the status of this Jal Jeevan mission. You will clearly understand that 2024 was the target that they put. But what happened is, the recent reports have come that by 2024 we will not be able to provide Har Ghar Jal target. We will not be able to provide this tap water completely to all the rural households, because there are so many reasons. And one of the important reason is, definitely, they said the COVID pandemic is one such reason why we were not able to meet the target by 2024. We were not able to give the tap water to all the people. And one more thing is Ukraine war. The important aspect is Ukraine war. You know what? Why Ukraine war was very important here? Because it wanted a lot of cement in order to create a large scale tap. We wanted a lot of cement and steel. So the Ukraine war actually caused a problem in the supply of large scale cement, large scale steel. So that is the reason why you can look at here, the Jal Jeevan mission target is actually missed. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. So it is actually created as a, you'll understand, as a Har Ghar is actually created as a community approach to water. Please remember this keyword. Such words are very, very important for the mains exam also. So community approach of water. And it was first approached in 2019. So the budget actually gave this concept of Jal Jeevan Mission, or Har Ghar Nal Se Jal program. So it's a community based program that we can listen to this. And moving on to the present status. What is this concept of FHTC? It's called the functional tap connection. That means Har Ghar Jal Village. To provide this, you need to have FHTC, means functional tap connection. As I said, it's completely based on the tap. So, what do you mean by that? Every day, at least 55 liters per person of potable or drinking water should be available. That is Har Ghar Jal program. But do you think getting 55 liters every day is not an easy task? So, always understand that is also very crucial regarding this. And that is the reason why only 75% of village homes are likely to have taps delivering drinking water by April 24, and 16% of rural households had tap water. But you can see that there is a pandemic is the biggest villain here, because we were not able to give 100%. So 100%, and you can see Ukraine war also resulted in the shortage of cement. That was also very important. Cement was not found is also one important point that you can see here. And one more thing, this also brings us, how are we going to find out that whether this program is successful or not? That is the reason why you should remember this very important point of Grama Panchayat, because a duty also lies with the Grama Panchayat. Very important. These are all important topics of prelims. Grama Panchayat and even Gram Sabha. Look at this, and even the concept of Gram Sabha. So I think for a prelims perspective, do you know what do you mean by Gram Panchayat or Gram Sabha, or who constitutes Gram Sabha or Gram Panchayat? This can even be a question from GS paper 2 Indian polity for the mains perspective also. And in this you can see that each and every Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha needs to put a photograph or a video whether you have got this tap of Har Ghar Jal or not. This is the key important thing. You can just go to the next slide. There is a system of certification wherein the Gram Panchayats in a village, in a district, and block level authorities report the fully connected quorum and upload a video attesting the veracity of the claims. So you have to upload a video whether you have got a tap or not. And always important, very, very important, again a question from prelims perspective. What if they ask you a question in the prelims? Water is a dash subject. Is it a water? Where is it actually? It is a state subject. Very, very important. Water is a state subject, and therefore the primary responsibility of planning and implementing piped water supply schemes to provide tap water goes with the state or union territory. Very, very important point. So, all these are also important. So, have an idea in this. Uh, what I wanted to try to tell you is that you have the central government, you have the government or the central government or the union government or the state government. So, what happens is it's actually done combined, but it is a duty of the state because water is a state list, it's a state subject, and implementation of both requires support of the state, and the union government will support the state. It will give what? It will give two important things. One, technical and financial assistance under Jal Jeevan Mission. So this is in short the most important concepts that we discussed, and I think you got this concept of Har Ghar Jal or water mission or the Jal Jeevan mission. What is the mission? 50 liters or 55 liters of water. It has not hit the target. Why it has not hit the target? So all this, what is the certification process involved in this? So please do get a complete idea about these things in this content. So I think this point is completely clear, and I think we'll move on to the next important content is National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission. What is this concept? Because in this concept, you must have heard about Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches the Sickle Cell Anemia Eradication Mission in Madhya Pradesh, Shadol. So I think most of the people out here, you must have definitely heard about sickle cell disease or SCD or sickle cell anemia. So what do you mean by sickle cell elimination mission? So what exactly are we talking about? So when you see such an article, first of all, you should understand. See, all these things have appeared in the newspapers. So whenever you understand a disease like this, you should know the details of all this. What is sickle cell's disease? You should know the details of all this. And when you talk about sickle cell disease, the first thing that will come into your mind is you can see in this the RBCs, the red blood cells. The RBCs are very, very important here. And most importantly, why it is called, let's find out. Let's find out. So this is also very important for the means perspective, GS paper 2, health perspective for civil services. This is very important. Okay, so let's quickly understand what is the topic generally talking about. So, the government has created a national sickle cell anemia elimination program. So that means we should know what is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is nothing but it's a sickle cell disease is a genetic disorder. Point number one, that affects the RBC. So that is why I said RBC, are red blood cells. It is one of the type of sickle. It's the most common and severe form. And what happens is there is a mutation in the hemoglobin gene. Very, very important. So please remember it is a genetic disorder, red blood cells, and there is a mutation happening which creates hemoglobin S, which is called HbS. This hemoglobin S is doing the whole job for sickle cell. So this is the main thing that is actually creating this alteration. And you can see that what is hemoglobin is the basic thing. It's a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen from lungs to the rest of the body. It's a basic biology. So you can see that in sickle cell anemia, the hemoglobin S causes red blood cells to become rigid, sticky, and shaped like sickle or crescent moon. So this is the reason let's go back and find out the important aspect, because this is the hemoglobin S. So look at this hemoglobin S, and let's go to the next slide. So look at this. The normal RBC, what happens is this is the normal RBC. What happens is HbS, the hemoglobin S. You can see this, the hemoglobin S, when it goes inside, when it interacts, you can see that certain RBCs, look at this shape. Look at the shape that it is creating. This clearly indicates what is called as sickle. You must have heard about a sickle shape. So this clearly shows a sickle shape that is being created. So this is what is called, this is the reason why it is called sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia. So the most important villain that we have discussed is hemoglobin S. So it's a genetic disorder. So please try to understand. This is the basic idea about sickle cell anemia, and the government of India wants to eliminate this. So that is a great target that the government is actually putting forward. So how can you treat this sickle cell? You should have a basic idea about this. How can you treat this? Because definitely people say that there are not much important cure available for sickle cell, but definitely you do a blood transfusion is very important, and you can even see medications like hydroxyurea or voxelotor or L-glutamine therapy and crisanlizumab. You can all use all this thing to actually treat this. And now let's look at the government angle. The government want national sickle cell elimination vision, where people should not actually fall into sickle cell. So that what is the reason government has actually done one thing? It's actually done screening and early detection and treatment. So government has planned three important steps. What are the three important steps? The government has decided to screen. The government has decided to go for an early detection, and the government has decided to go for a treatment. So this is what sickle cell. And now let's look at the government of India's preparedness regarding this. That is also very, very important. So these are some of the important regards in the health. This is very, very important for GS mains, especially GS paper 2. You can write, and even for prelims is very important. One, let's look at Kala Azar. Have you heard about Kala Azar? From 11,000 in 2013, it's like just 1,000 cases now reported in India. And look at the case of malaria, from 10 lakh to just 2 lakh today. And even leprosy, it has come down from 1.25 lakh to 70 to 75,000. And even we are going to spread tuberculosis, eliminate the spread of tuberculosis by 2025. So look at this. And what, for all of you, if you do not know Kala Azar, it's called the visceral leishmaniasis, which is called, it's actually called leishmaniasis. It's actually caused by protozoa. You know, all these questions, even for the prelims examination, you should have an absolute clarity. What if they ask, Kala Azar is actually a viral infection or it's caused by bacteria? No, it's caused by protozoa of Leishmania genus, and it affects the liver, spleen, and bone marrow. So, just imagine we have discussed Kala Azar, malaria, leprosy, and even tuberculosis, and also include sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia. So this is what the government of India is trying to do. So this will automatically give you that government is trying to eradicate a lot of health issues, which is very clear. So also understand the National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Program introduced in Union. It's actually introduced in Budget 2023. It focuses on addressing significant health challenge posed by sickle cell disease. And National Health Mission, it's actually under the part of National Health Mission. So this brings us, what is NHM? You should definitely know about this. What is NHM? This aims to eliminate sickle cell genetic transmission by 2047. So 2047 is the year for sickle cell anemia. So this is the government target that we have put forward. So please remember, even for tuberculosis is 2025, and it's 2047 for national sickle cell anemia elimination. So I think you got this idea what you mean by what is the concept of sickle cell anemia, how does it work, genetic mutation, hemoglobin S, it causes sickle cell, and how is it treated, what is the government efforts taken. So if you know this, you can even write a prelims question or even even write a mains answer. I think following to this, there is another important aspect that I would love to, the articles, when you talk about all these health aspects, definitely you should be aware about Ayushman Bharat Yojana. What is Ayushman Bharat Yojana? And even there is something called Ayushman Bharat Card. What is this? You must have heard about, and it is nothing but it is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana scheme, or the PMJ. Please remember, it is nothing else but the PMJ. It's one of the biggest healthcare schemes sponsored by the government of India. Very, very important. You should definitely note about Ayushman Bharat card and also Ayushman Bharat digital mission. So there is also Ayushman Bharat digital mission. What is this? Ayushman Bharat digital mission also, the biggest healthcare scheme. And you see the statistics: 50 crore Indian citizens and nearly 10 crore underprivileged families without any limitations pertaining to family. So this is going to target 50 crore and almost 10 crore underprivileged people. And definitely, when you talk about health thing, the first thing that you should know is regarding the insurance coverage. Up to almost 5 lakh for each family per year for tertiary and secondary. tertiary, secondary hospital expenses. So you definitely should have an idea in this whenever you are hospitalized. So will this Ayushman Bharat be applicable only for public or government hospitals, or it's only for the government or even for the private? So you know that whenever you have a health problem, you get admitted in the hospital. If you have insurance, definitely in, is it a paperless scheme? Is it a paperless or a cashless program? All these are very important terms that you should know. If you are admitted in the hospital, what all things will it cover? Is it applicable only for the public or only for the private or both? Let's have a clarity on that. So please remember about Ayushman Bharat Yojana. And you can see it is a paperless and cashless hospitalization cover at public hospitals and network private hospitals. So don't feel that any hospital in India. No, it's public hospitals, definitely yes, and network private hospitals. So the network private hospitals, selected private hospitals are part of this. And you can see that what does it cover? It covers hospitalization cost, pre-hospitalization medication, post-hospitalization expense during the treatment, which is applicable to almost all tertiary and secondary care procedures. So Ayushman Bharat, it is actually paperless, cashless network of private hospitals also. So please remember that point is also important. And let's discuss what is the concept of ABHA. If you have not heard about, all these can be a prelims questions. Next year they can ask you a question. Consider the following statements regarding ABHA or Ayushman Bharat health account. It's a hassle-free method of accessing and sharing your health records digitally. So this is Ayushman Bharat digital mission. You can enable your interaction with healthcare providers, and you can receive all your digital lab reports, prescription, diagnosis from all things, and it's completely digital, and you will get this card, Ayushman Bharat card. So all these things has to be remembered because this is also in the news. And as you know, in today's session, I told you we will learn all the important concepts. Only if you know the concepts for the civil service exam, always understand. If you know the concepts well, don't worry, this is a series. We will continue the series until May first week. Don't worry. We will do it until May first week, and we will cover all the important topics for 2024 examination. It's a promise, don't worry. So know the concepts clearly. So I think this is pretty clear, and I think this point is clear. You must have already known about sickle cell and know about Ayushman Bharat. What is Ayushman Bharat? The single largest healthcare scheme, and know about the ABHA or Ayushman Bharat health account also. So that is also very clear. And now let's go to the next important point: the Artemis Accords, GS paper 4, or sorry, GS paper 3. You can mark science and technology, or even mark space. You can mark it as an innovation that has happened in the space. So what will signing Artemis Accords benefit India? So you can see that India will become the 27th signatory to Artemis Accord. So what exactly is this Artemis Accord? That is something that we have to understand in this. So what is this Artemis Accord? India has signed it, and India became 27th country in this. So let's understand quickly, and we have a lot of topics to cover, so I'm just moving a bit faster. So what is Artemis Accord? You can see that NASA is very popularly promoting this Artemis Accord, and you can see that basically it's a space collaboration. Very important. It's a space collaboration. It's a space collab. And you can see that there are different countries like this: America, China, Italy, France, India, and many of the countries which are Japan, which has got space pass. So what happens is all these are important countries involved in this country, and everybody has got their own space programs. So Artemis Accords clearly say that India has its own space program. So why not let's collaborate between all the countries, and let's have an important collaboration in the sense with certain principles. We will have certain international principles and agreements regarding all the countries regarding what? Regarding the use of space. That is a clean word. Regarding the use of space, why not let's have an international agreement or a collaboration between the countries? So let's have an understanding. So regarding Artemis mission also believe that you should put humans to the moon and even put humans to Mars. We believe in that. And Can you pollute moon? It's a direct question that I'm asking you. Can you pollute moon? Who decides whether we should pollute moon or not? So Artemis is everything relating to this. Let's find out quickly. We cannot pollute the moon. So let's understand. India becomes the 27th country. So basically, I told you Artemis Accords is a practical set of principles. Number one, it's a principles to guide space exploration, cooperation among nations, including those participating in NASA's Artemis program. India became the 27th country, and you can even see that which is the latest country, the 33rd country, we will actually find out. So it's clear, like we'll have a set of principles for space among the countries. You can remember this diagram itself. There are different countries, we come together. So this is Artemis Accord. How can it benefit? And it's even said the humans to moon and eventually send astronauts to Mars. And that will be a great thing when astronauts will go to Mars. And you can even check out this clear thing that when it started in 2020. So Artemis mission is not something very old. You can see the international collaboration is just 2020 when it started with 7 countries. Which are the 7 countries? So Artemis mission can be even asked for the prelims examination. Which of the following statement regarding Artemis mission are correct? And you can even get a statement. India was one among the countries, one among the original signatories, because there are 7 countries, as said. There are 7 countries who were initial signatories. You can even get a statement. India was one among the first 7 signatories of Artemis mission. So it's the statement is false. We know that India is the 27th country. So these are all the questions. So what are the important, you can say, what are the, when you say principles, what are the important principles? Let's quickly understand what are some of the important principles involved in this. So that is very clear. You understand. So avoid harmful interference with space activities of other nations. That means you have China and you have India and you have US. So unwanted conflict between the countries of Artemis mission is not entertained. If you are a member of Artemis mission, there's no unwanted space activities or interference. And you cannot contaminate or pollute the moon or other celestial bodies. And that is the reason why we said Artemis. These are some of the important principles. And I'll tell you for the prelims perspective, I'll give you a detailed idea about what are the important core principles and elements. You can see this peaceful purpose. You should use space for the peaceful purpose. There should be transparency. There should be interoperability and deconfliction of activities, preserving outer space heritage, registration of space objects, avoiding harmful contamination, and space resource utilization. These are the core principles of Artemis. Use it peacefully, transparent, interoperability, deconfliction of activity, no conflict between the countries, preserve the space heritage. That is also a good concept. What is space heritage? What is the concept of space heritage? Avoid contamination, no contamination, and space resource utilization. So this is the core principle of Artemis principle. So I think this point is pretty clear. You have got this point clearly. And you can see that US and China are definitely competing between space, and India is definitely in an American friendly interpretation of space law, because India is a good ally of America. India is actually an American friendly interpretation. And you can see that while India has signed this Artemis, it does not have a direct financial implication, but you should see definitely it has an impact on ISRO. What? When India is actually part of Artemis mission, you should see that we should increase the budget of ISRO. So presently you can see 12,500 crores is the budget that is being used by ISRO. And once India is part of Artemis mission, we do not have a direct financial implication, but definitely we should increase the budget of ISRO. That will be a very good initiative in this regard. So these are all the implication of India's Artemis mission. Clearly you can understand. So remember the core principles, they can even be asked for the prelims exam. And look at this. NASA welcomes Angola. Where is Angola located? Please find it. Please take it as a challenge. Please try to mark where is Angola located. You have heard about a city called Luanda. So where is Angola located? Find out where Angola is, and it becomes the 33rd country. And these are the 7 countries initially: United States, Australia, Canada, Japan, Italy, Luxembourg, Canada. You can remember UK, Italy, Japan, Canada, Australia, USA. But Luxembourg is something that you may not have. It's not something that usually Luxembourg occupies the top position. So you can see India is not the founding member of Artemis mission. Even if you get a statement, that statement is wrong. India is not a founding member. So please remember all these points regarding Artemis mission is something that I wanted to tell you. So again, quick recap: what is Artemis mission? I've got this idea clearly. So this is regarding the Artemis mission. So please know about all this concept. And again, a next important question regarding international relationship, GS paper 2 and also GS paper 1, geography. See, whenever you get a news like this, INS Sunaina visits Mozambique. So when you take defense, it is GS paper 3, defense. Because mains paper GS paper 3 defense, GS paper 1 geography, Mozambique India relationship, again international relation. So this is important from GS paper what? GS paper 1, GS paper 2 and GS paper 3. From 3 perspective, this news is important. So INS Sunaina, definitely it's a, you will know that this is related to the Indian Navy. It has actually reached. Let's find out the answer. Mozambique. INS Sunaina visited Beira. Where is Beira in Mozambique? So it is actually the cordial ties between India and Mozambique, and also brings another important topic called Sagar. What is Sagar? Very, very important for GS paper 2, international relation. You should know this. What is the concept of Sagar? Which clearly say that security and growth for all in the region. This concept is very important, and it was popularized in 2015 by the Prime Minister of India in Mauritius. It's simple, but it's an India's approach to maritime cooperation in Indian Ocean region. So please understand, it is India's approach. Know what is Sagar. So India Mozambique relationship. It is actually when INS Sunaina, the naval fleet, when it went to Mozambique, it is actually strengthening Sagar. And it also mentions about blue economy. What is this blue economy? Very, very important. If you don't know about blue economy, find out what do you mean by blue economy. Very, very important topic for this. So know about Mozambique and the important relationship between. So one important point that we got from here is Sagar. What is Sagar? Security and growth for all. It's India's maritime relationship. Always understand. And again, an important question for UPSC prelims here. Beira is the capital and largest city of Sofala province, where you should know that it is the 4th largest city by population in Mozambique after Maputo, Matola and Nampula. So these cities, they can even ask in the examination, which of the following are the important cities? Mozambique, Maputo, Matola and Nampula are all cities in where? These are all important cities in Mozambique. So again, what if I ask you a question for the prelims? Mozambique shares land borders with which of the following countries? This is an important question that they can ask you in the prelims examination. So we need to understand, this country called Mozambique is sharing borders with which of the following countries? You can clearly see Tanzania to the north, correct? Tanzania to the north, Malawi to the northwest, correct? Malawi to the northwest, you can see. Where is Malawi? You can see Malawi, Tanzania, Zambia to the northwest. So you can see Zambia is also located, it's actually sharing border. And Zimbabwe to the west. You can see Zimbabwe is also sharing border. Swaziland or Eswatini to the southwest. You can say this is Swaziland. You can just see Swaziland is marked here. And South Africa to the southwest. South Africa to the southwest. So all these questions, because in the while you analyze previous year question papers of the civil service exam, you clearly understand that such questions are asked. So Mozambique is actually in the news. So definitely it is your duty to know, expect a question. Mozambique shares borders with which of the following countries? Definitely get this idea: Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Swaziland and South Africa. Please get this map correctly in your mind. All these are real good questions that will be very, very important for the examination. So that was all regarding from one INS Sunaina, I brought in Mozambique into the picture. So please be ready with Mozambique is in the current affairs. So you can expect for 2024 examination Mozambique map. Okay. And next important question, here we go from GS paper 3, environment question. It's very important. Let's understand what do you mean by crop residue management and ex situ paddy cultivation. Very, very important. So what is this ex situ and in situ? This is something that comes in environment. Many times they ask you this. What is ex situ conservation and in situ conservation? So this time it is regarding paddy. So what do you mean by the concept of CRM or crop residue management? So what is this crop residue management? We have to understand. So what is crop residue management? Let's quickly understand this concept. I think it's an environment topic. What is crop residue? Let's get the definition. Number one, it is actually the handling and utilizing the remaining plant material, stem, leaves, roots that remains in the field after a crop has been harvested. So please understand, you actually in this area, you actually harvest. You actually harvest here. You do a harvest, that means you do a harvest, you do a crop harvest here. That means you do a proper crop harvest here. And in this crop harvest, once the crop harvest is complete, you will find out there will be a lot of things that remains like leaves, like stem, like certain shoots that actually is actually after, remaining after this. You can see, take a clear look at this picture and you will get an idea on this. It is remaining material such as stems, leaves, roots that remains in the field after a crop has been harvested. So this is very, very important in the agriculture perspective because it is very important for the soil health, pest and disease control, and even environmental sustainability. So the most important point that you can see, it is very important for nutrient cycling. You know why nutrient cycling? When you see stems, leaves, roots, this can reduce it is actually returning to the soil and it contributes nutrient cycling. So there is already something like this. Once you cultivate this, once you after the harvesting is over, again certain things it goes back again into the soil and it gets recycled, it gets cycled, and it is very helpful because external fertilizers and other things are not being used because certain. So this is what you called as crop residue or the balance. This is crop residue management. So this is the concept. You can expect this question for the prelims also. Which of the following statements regarding crop residue are correct? Which of the following statement regarding crop residue are correct? You should definitely know the benefits of crop residue. So please have an idea. Definitely this can reduce, very important, this can reduce the need for fertilizers because the stems, leaves, roots go back to the soil. So please do understand this is CRM or crop residue management. So please remember this. And what is ex situ management of paddy? Let's cut down this paddy. Let's understand what is ex situ and in situ. Ex situ means paddy, let's cut it. It is the cultivation and conservation of rice varieties outside their natural habitat. So typically you can see in the botanical gardens, gene bank, research institution, etc. And in situ means it's very simple. In situ means you can understand it refers to the traditional and common practice of growing rice within its natural environment. So one is, you can say in this picture, if you cultivate inside the natural environment, you cultivate rice or anything inside the natural thing, it is in situ. It's in situ. If you cultivate outside this, the natural environment, it is ex situ, like botanical garden, etc. So remember the botanical garden because it is outside that. So this is basically the concept of ex situ and in situ, and please do understand. So what are some of the example of ex situ? Very important because this can also be asked in the prelims examination. You can even forget about paddy. Which of the following are examples of ex situ? You can see seed banks, gene banks. So remember seed banks, gene banks, botanical gardens, research farms, conservation farms, and international seed vault. Always remember the very good example of Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Norway. These are all backup thing. So seed bank, gene bank, botanical garden, research farms, conservation farms, seed vaults, all are example of ex situ because they're outside this. When you cultivate within the natural environment, it is in situ. I think you have got this point clearly. So this is what we have to remember in this concept. So I think you got what you mean by crop residue management, CRM management, and what is ex situ. In situ, I told you that what example of ex situ, and I think you got this point very clearly. Okay, fair enough. So moving on to the next important topic, something that appeared in the news again was ZSI, or you must have heard about the Zoological Survey of India. Very, very important. What is the Zoological Survey of India? Is celebrating the 108th year with special focus on mission life. So, what is this concept of ZSI? Have you heard about ZSI and even Botanical Survey of India? You have the Zoological Survey of India and even Botanical Survey of India. So, what does this? We have what are something that we have to remember in this concept? Such questions can be asked in the prelims exam. Which of the following statement regarding Zoological Survey of India is correct? So remember, from the prelims perspective, this holds a lot of importance. So let's take a quick history. Launched in 1960 by the British colonial administration during the British time, the establishment of ZSI was very important for the study and documentation of diverse fauna of British India animal. And the founding director of ZSI was Thomas Nelson Annandale. He was a Scottish zoologist. So all these questions can even be asked in the prelims examination. The ZSI was formed in the early 1900s, and it was founded by a Scottish person, Thomas Nelson Annandale. So when you get all these questions, you don't know this. So it is in the current affairs. And the most important question here, it is under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Which ministry is actually controlling ZSI? You can even give Ministry of Earth and Ministry of Science and Technology controls ZSI. No, it's Ministry of Environmental and Forest. Very, very important. These information are very, very crucial for the prelims examination. I think this point is clear. And what is the concept of Sarovar Mitra? They can ask you in the next prelims. Recently, the concept called Sarovar Mitra appeared in the news. What is it? ZSI is conducting research and conservation in the wetlands of Gangetic Plains of India. This is Sarovar Mitra. So, if you get a question, which of the following statements regarding Sarovar Mitra are correct, you should definitely have an idea about what is Sarovar Mitra. So, get an idea. Sarovar Mitra is nothing but the Gangetic Plains of ZSI. It's working on that. And please do remember about one thing about DDT. The article talks about how DDT. What is DDT? The full form? Dichloro diphenyl. What do you mean by that? Do you know this definition of DDT? And you know that how during the World War the most famous person regarding this is Rachel Carson. You must have heard about this Rachel Carson, the person who vouched against DDT, do not use DDT. And the most important book, her book was, Rachel Carson is not a man, it's a lady, Silent Spring in 1958, which showed that you should not use DDT, the harm that it can cause to the environment. So that is something related to the, please remember about DDT and Rachel Carson. And it also talks about four important things. What if they ask in the examination? This is where people fail. Which of the following statements are correctly matched? Silent Valley National Park is where? Where? Actually, do you want to comment inside this? You can even comment in the chat, but I was just looking at the chats. The Namdhapa Tiger Reserve is in which place? Which state? Nilgiri is in which state? The Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve. This is very simple. You know that it is located in Andaman and Nicobar. It will be, the word Nicobar clearly says. But where is Silent Valley? Where is Namdhapa and where is Nilgiri? In the news, ZSI is given special reference to this. Where is this located? Such questions, be ready for such questions, and let's quickly move on and find out. Silent Valley is in Kerala, and you can see Namdhapa is in Arunachal Pradesh, and even you can see Nilgiri is sharing the border between Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. It's Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and look at its Andaman Nicobar Islands. So Namdhapa is, so please have an idea about all these things. Such questions will definitely be asked in the UPSC examination. Again and again they will ask you. Match the following, or which of the following statements are correctly matched. Have a good idea on that. Okay. So let's move on to the next important area. is regarding the CDSCO. What is the CDSCO? Let's quickly mark and find out what is the CDSCO, which are the most important points that we have to study here. So, why are Indian drug makers in the lens? And you will understand when you see that Indian pharmaceutical industry, that is the most important thing that you have to understand. The Indian pharma industry is something that is being making news. The Indian pharma companies are making news, and you will see a series of countries. You can see countries like Gambia. You can see countries like Gambia, Uzbekistan. You can even see Uzbekistan or Sri Lanka or even Nigeria. You can see in most of the African countries, Indian pharma is exporting is exporting Indian medicines, and the most important problem that they witnessed is regarding the cough syrup. You must have read about this news. The cough syrup, a lot of Indian farmers are exporting this. So what about the quality of the what is the quality of the things that is being exported here? What is the quality that is being exported? That is a serious question, and that is where you can see the CDSEO comes into the place. The CDSEO comes into the place, and you can see even see that a lot of people in Gambia, Uzbekistan, Sri Lanka, Nigeria, more than 70 plus children died in Gambia after using the cough syrup. So this has raised serious concern about the quality of Indian pharmaceutical industry and the exports that India is making. So definitely World Trade Organization, WTO has impacted here. So what is the role of this? Don't you think what is the quality regarding this? We have to have a clear cut idea on the quality. And do you think the Indian pharma are punished? What is the punishment that we should be looking at this? Because we cannot make India's name. India's name is actually going out here. So that is something that we have to find out. This is the context. And what is the CDSO? Central Drugs and Standard. So two articles you can say sample 15 and drugs not of standards in quality. This is in October recently. 15 and drugs are out of quality in India. So let's find out the most important points in this regard. Let's quickly understand. The CDSO means Central Drug Standard Control Organization. It is actually under the Directorate General of Health Services. Very important. It is actually under DGHS. It's actually under DGHS, the Director General of Health Services under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And it is the National Regulatory Authority of India regarding drugs, medicines, and clinical trials. It is the NRA or the National Regulatory Authority. You can get such questions in the prelims also. And the most important act that is coming here is the Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940 and 1945, the rules. So please remember this point. You can see that CDSO is responsible for what? It is responsible for the approval of what? Whether there is a new drugs, whether there is a conduct of clinical trials, or laying down the standards for drugs, quality of imported drugs in the country, and coordination between the state drug control. Everything is actually done by CDSO. So please remember the jobs, the standards, the drugs, the quality of the drugs, the imported drugs, the coordination with the state government. And when you look at this, you can even see the CDSO coordinates with the state regulators, and it's jointly responsible. So in the case of grant of license of certain specialized category of critical drugs such as blood and blood products, IV fluids and vaccine, you can see that, or certain sera, CDSO is actually working jointly with the state regulators. So upon see this, it determines the clinical trials. Everything is actually controlling this. But look at this. In the case of licenses and specialized drugs, you can see that it is actually joining with the state regulators also. So please remember CDSO's functions, the formation of CDSO. 70 children were just, look at this. You can see this. The cough syrup killed more than 70 people in Gambia. The WHO is even WTO. What about the trade system? What is the trade system? And WHO has taken it unacceptable levels. 18 children died in Uzbekistan of diethylene glycol or DEG or ethylene glycol. So please remember, The use of diethylene glycol, DEG, definitely something. Please find out what is DEG. They can be asked because it is the use, or ethylene glycol. You can see, and even not even in those countries. Look at this. Even in Sri Lanka, there is report of anesthetic drugs made in India as creating problems, and even Nigeria is actually reporting India's oral paracetamol and cough medicines are regarding big time problem. Many companies based in Punjab are creating problems. So this is the reason why we have to remember about CDSO. So remember about the Gambia, all this initiative. So this is really bad for India's outlook. And what about the punishment that we have to look at here? So definitely, center in India, the drug regulatory, you can see the center is responsible for imports and approving new drugs based on safety and efficacy data. But the licensing and prosecution of pharma companies is the state government. So know the problem. Import, new drugs, safety and efficacy is all about central government, and the licensing and the prosecution of pharma companies is the role of the central government, state government. That is why state CDSO along with the state government is also important. Licensing and pharma, please know the difference clearly. And you should know that under the Drug and Cosmetics Act 1940, a maximum punishment of imprisonment for life is given for people who create death like this. But how is the system operated? You should have a clear idea. So know about what is CDSO and what are the importance regarding this. And so again, going for the map question here, let's find out what is Gambia. We need to have a clear-cut idea regarding where is Gambia. Where is Gambia decoded? Have you heard about such a country called Gambia? We said, the biggest problem of prelims is about Gambia. We discussed that 70 people died in Gambia, but we do not know where is Gambia. Look at the map. It's a small West African country. So what if you get a statement for prelims? Gambia is an East African country. True or false? It's a false question. It's a West African country. It's bordered by Senegal on all sides except for its coastline along the Atlantic Ocean. So look at it. It has the Atlantic Ocean, and apart from that, this country called Gambia is completely covered by Senegal. So know that there is another country called Senegal. Very important. Know where is Senegal. So it is on the north. You can see on the north, on the east, and in the south, it is actually Gambia. But you can see in the west, you can look at that. In the west, you have the Atlantic Ocean and the North Atlantic Ocean. So look at the Gambia, look at this country, because you should have an idea about this country. And also look at where is Uzbekistan located. Where is Uzbekistan located? You can see definitely Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries. So you can say Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, and Turkmenistan. So these are the important countries that are bordering Uzbekistan. So definitely we learned about Uzbekistan. So definitely it is your duty to find out, if you get a question, which of the following countries border Uzbekistan, you should have an idea. Remember about this map clearly. It's going to be really helpful for all this exam. Okay, so that's cool. And let's, I think we will, there are a lot of topics to be discussed. So I think in this, we will have in the more sessions, we are definitely having more sessions. We have more topics like, I'm waiting at this point of time. Should I call it off? Should I discuss one more topic and end this session and take the next important topics in the next important class? Already lost some time. So what is your comment on that? Please type in the chat box. I'm just waiting. We have a lot of topics to be completed. So I'm just calling it off a day, or should I complete one more topic? Tell me what is Purvodaya and what is the Ashtalakshmi states. I'll take one more topic, and I think after that we have something to learn. The Swami Fund. What is the Swami Fund, and what is the different concepts to be discussed? The Sagarmala project, and what do you think? Do you want to take a? I think we can complete it within 10 minutes. So what is your talk? You can all comment in this. You can do as you wish. I need 10 minutes to complete this. So shall we go ahead? in this 10 minutes, I think that will be clean. We'll complete this whole topic because we'll complete this one whole area. I think it'll only take 10 more minutes. So I think I'll go. Yes, I think we'll go on. Let's take 10 minutes and finish off this thing. Okay. So what is this concept of Ashtalakshmi states? Recently, there was something called Purvodaya because there was a conclave called Purvodaya in the northeastern states. So Narendra Modi recently called as Ashtalakshmi states. So why is the Ashtalakshmi states in the northeastern countries, so northeastern states, why are we calling it as the Ashtalakshmi states? So let's quickly find it out. So what we have to find out here is the northeast evaluation. We need to have a good idea about the northeast evaluation, and you can see that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi regarded the 8 northeastern states as the Ashtalakshmi, or the 8 forms of goddess of wealth, and his visionary policies. Because soon, once we call about northeast, every time we talk about northeast, the people talk about Manipur issue. They talk about wrong reasons like insurgency, clash, youths are confused and disturbed, there is violence in northeast. So the most important thing, Ashtalakshmi, is the 8 northeastern states that we are discussing. So let me also clearly tell you, when you say there are 8 states, how many of you even know that the name of the real 8 states? And it is even said there are 7 sisters. There are 7 sisters and 1 brother. So which is that brother state? And why is that brother state even called a brother state? So now people say that Ashtalakshmi theory says that Northeast is going to be the source of wealth and contribution of highest GDP in the years to come. That is why it is going to be very, very important. And that is the reason why let's look at the Northeast and some of the advantages. And I'm just focusing from the prelims perspective. It's important that we focus. Imagine for prelims question, what is the Bogibeel Bridge and the Dhola Sadia Bridge is located where? It's in the Northeast, it's over the Brahmaputra. Such questions can be asked in the prelims examination. Where is the Bogibeel Bridge or the Dhola Sadia Bridge? It's over the Brahmaputra. So this is the most important thing that you should remember. Always remember, you should have this idea. Where is this Bogibeel Bridge or the Dhola Sadia Bridge? It's over the Brahmaputra. Such things needs to be important. And also, what about the girder or the girder rail bridge? This is the girder, means you can see this. Such type of bridges are called as girder. And where is the world's tallest girder? Means it's Imphal Jiribam line. So these things are very, very useful for the prelims examination. So it's not easy to remember all this. The Bogibeel Bridge, the Dhola Sadia Bridge, or the Imphal Jiribam line, you should clearly know. So one thing, when you talk about the Ashtalakshmi, Northeast is really doing well in the length of roads and construction and all the economic and business potential of the region. In the context of infrastructure, Northeast is really, really doing good. And also look at the Pakyong Airport, which is the first airport of Sikkim. So where is the Pakyong Airport located? The Pakyong Airport. It is located in Sikkim. So total of 8 airports have been added to the region in the last 9 years, taking the airports to 17. So this adds to the infrastructure that I was talking about. So remember about the Bogibeel Bridge, Dhola Sadia and Imphal Jiribam line. All are in Northeast. And please also remember what is NESITS, the Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Scheme and Northeast Industrial Development Scheme. So please remember regarding the infrastructure, the NESITS, Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Scheme and Northeast Industrial Development Scheme. So have a good idea. And one more question regarding the map. How many of you even knew this? Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura. And please remember, from a civil service perspective, please remember the name of the capital cities of all this. What if they ask you a question for match the following? You should know the capital. You know why? And remember this, why Sikkim is left out. This states, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura is called the 7 sisters and Sikkim is called the brother. Basically because Sikkim is not connected to these. Sikkim does not share the borders. You can see this picture clearly. Sikkim is left out. It is not sharing. The rest of all is actually connected in one place. 7 sisters and 1 brother, it's actually called. And remember, there is one more thing, donor. Department of Development of Northeastern Region. And after 2004, you should see that there is a separate Ministry of Northeastern Region. Remember, donor, it's Department of Development of Northeastern Region. And also remember the concept of AFSPA, the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. So remember, this has actually created a lot of controversy. We will definitely discuss it during the from the mains perspective. We will definitely discuss about AFSPA in the later session. You know that Armed Forces Special Powers Act, where you know that the army has a more power. A lot of criticism has gone through AFSPA because of the large misuse that the Indian army has done. It is what the people say. So AFSPA is actually very hot topic, and people want AFSPA to be removed, taken away from the northeastern states, because no unwanted power should be given to army. So they want the AFSPA to be removed, because a lot of northeastern states were actually having the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, where army was having uninterrupted, unlimited powers. They can even arrest you, take you into custody without a warrant. On suspicion, they can take you, and even people can be killed. And during an encounter, it is even rightful to kill a person under an encounter. So, a lot of misuse and criticisms came in the Northeast. That is why the ASPA has been completely removed from Tripura and Meghalaya. Very important point. It is completely removed from Tripura and Meghalaya, and majorly removed from Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh. So this is the general evaluation that happens about northeastern states. So remember about the Ashtalakshmi is the 8 states, and the Purvodaya is a conclave that happened in northeastern states. And so this is all about the Northeast evaluation. So know about this. So know about all these concepts. And let me quickly move on to the second last topic of the day. What is the Swami Fund? You must have heard about the Swami and Friends. You must, R.K. Narayan must have remembered the Swami and Funds, Swami and Friends. So what do you mean by this concept of Swami Fund? So let's bring out what is this concept. Let's check out how Center Swami Investment is reviving completion of stalled housing projects in Indian cities. And Prime Minister congratulates new owners in Bangalore's first under projects of Swami Fund. So what exactly are we talking in this concept? You can see. So remember that there were a lot of buildings. Remember that there are a lot of buildings or flats like this. Imagine that there are two important points to be remembered. Either they started the construction and the project got stalled. It is not completed. It got stalled due to many reasons. It's incomplete, or the total property or the whole thing became stressed. You can say what in economics you must have learned about what do you mean by stress assets, whether you call it as an NPA or a thing. Imagine that it has got stalled or stressed. So in such situation, how are we going to take forward? These are all flats or construction. Just imagine that this is a flat or thing. Either it is stalled or it's stressed. Now let's look at what is the Swami Fund. And it's not the Swami, it's actually an abbreviation. You will find out Swami means special window for affordable and mid-income housing. Investment housing. This is the key word, special window for affordable and mid-income housing. That is the Swami Investment Fund is a social impact fund, especially found for completing stressed and stalled residential projects. And most importantly, it is funded by the Ministry of Finance. So please look at this. Let's take, these are important points, very, very important for prelims perspective. First of all, it's affordable and mid housing projects. And what is it? It is this social impact fund for stressed and stalled projects, and it's sponsored by the Ministry of Finance, and it is managed by SBI Cap Ventures Limited, a group of SBI company. So SBI is managing this whole thing, and it is the largest domestic real estate private equity team. And you can just see this, it is a category 2 AIF funding. So that brings us what is an AIF funding. So in economics, you must have read about what is an AIF fund, or it's called alternate investment funds. What do you mean by? So it is actually a category of AIF. So this whole Swami thing is like an AIF thing. The investment is like AIF. So what is an AIF? I've got a point. Alternate investment funds is a category of pooled investment other than the traditional stock or bond and cash. Very, very important. Normally, we invest in the cash, we invest in stock, or we invest in bonds. This is not the usual investment. That is the word A. Alternate investment. That is the word A. It means alternate. Give the investor a choice. Give more choice to the investor. Alternate investments like private equity, hedge funds, real estate, venture capital, infrastructure, commodities, and other traditional assets, non-traditional assets. So that means move away from, you need to move away from a cash, stock, bond to more alternate things. That is why it's called alternate investment funds. So what are the alternates? Private equity, hedge funds, real estate, venture capital, infrastructure. So remember, this is the Swami Fund. And what is this Swami Fund? SBI CAP is managing this fund. So know in detail about this concept. And remember, the real estate projects must be registered with the RERA. What do you mean by RERA? Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, RERA. Please, we should also know what you mean by RERA for the prelims examination. It's very important that we know what is RERA for the prelims exam. And the project should have been declared as stalled or delayed project by a competent authority is also very, very important. And the most important, the project should actually be run for what? Affordable and mid-income housing categories only. That is already given. That is why it is called Swami, mid, affordable and mid housing only categories. Not for luxurious great villa projects or something. It should be affordable and mid-income housing categories. It should be given for that. Okay. So it should be registered with the RERA also. That is all regarding Swami Fund. So know the key points: stressed, stalled. Category 2 AI, alternate investment funds, which gives a more choice to the investor, which is alternate. And who is the sponsor? The Department of Economic Affairs or Minister of Finance is the sponsor. And currently you can see 30 plus investment professionals, 15 years of experience are all working with this SBI CAPS, and it has delivered 24,000 homes as of September 23. Imagine, just 2 months away, 24,000 homes, and aspire to give more than 20,000 homes to the people. So definitely, the Swami Fund is actually transforming the construction phase in India. Very important that you know about this. And moving on to the last topic, I think this is the last topic. And before we go on, what is the NMHC? That is the key one. NMHC is the most important thing. What is the National Maritime Heritage Complex? It welcomes Indian Navy's inaugural. As you can see, what is the National Maritime Heritage Complex? So all this appeared in the newspaper very clearly. You should be very clearly knowing this. And the Union Minister of Ports has Shipping and Waterways reviewed this projects of National Maritime Heritage Complex in Lothal. This is an Indus Valley site. Very important. Lothal is known for the artificial dockyard of Indus Valley, the port city of Indus Valley. So know about Lothal. That has become the National Maritime Heritage Complex. And what will have? It will have the Asia's biggest underwater museum and India's grandest naval museum and the world's tallest lighthouse museum. All this is going to be in Lothal. So it's a prehistoric site of Indus Valley, and it also brings, it is an important concept of Sagarmala program. Again, what is Sagarmala program? Again, this has brought in Sagarmala program, very, very important for GS paper 2 and also GS paper 3. Infrastructure are very clearly said as ports, the development of ports in India. So this is something that you know, the Heritage Museum you will know. So in this context, I would love to bring in the concept of Sagarmala project. What is Sagarmala? It is an initiative by the government of India aimed at promoting port-led development in the country. Very, very important. It's all regarding the ports in India. It's all regarding the port-led development in India. And so you must have heard about the string of pearls. The island, you must have heard about the string of pearls, but this is the string of ports. That was string of pearls. The Chinese islands you can see in the South China Sea. This is the string of ports, and it needs to create ports and related infrastructure to harness the coastline and inland waterway of India. This is the key word. We want to develop waterways and coastlines of India and leverage India's maritime potential. These are the key words. If you can, write all these keywords in the answer paper of mains, you will definitely. So it will create more jobs, reduce our logistic costs, create more trade and investment through development of maritime infrastructure. So remember, the port and maritime is something that brings under Sagarmala project. So when you remember about National Maritime Heritage Complex, when it is happening in Lothal, please remember that it is very important that you remember Sagarmala also. So this is the old Indus Valley city of Lothal, reconstructed image. So all of you, please, for prelims examination in Indus Valley, definitely look at Lothal. It's called the Mount of. But what do you mean by Lothal, Harappa, and Mohenjo-daro? What does the word mean? What do you mean by Harappa? What do you mean by Mohenjo-daro? What do you mean by Lothal, Kalibangan? All these are important places. Know about the features of Lothal. Apart from a dockyard, apart from our dockyard, what else have to be understand in this? Something that we have to know in this. Okay, so that is all important in this. And before we end this session, one more important topic that I want to tell you. You must have all heard about inflation, the rise in price. So recently, everybody is talking about greedflation and shrinkflation. So let me also clearly tell you what do you mean by greedflation and shrinkflation. So simply understand, uh, before we close it off, greedflation is used to describe price inflation attributed to corporate greed for higher profits. So the corporate people always have higher greed for higher profits. In this case, when you have a greed for corporate profits, you have the term called greedflation. And shrinkflation refers to a reduction in the quantity or quality of a product while the price remains the same. Shrinkflation means the quantity or quality of a product is actually reduction is actually coming down when the price remains the same. The price is 10 rupees, but the quality of the product and the quantity of the product is coming down. So this is shrinkflation and this is greedflation. So just imagine this is corporate greed and that is coming down. So remember the two words that is actually making headlines. It's greedflation and shrinkflation. So I think we have come to the end of the class. So thank you for listening. I think a lot of people, this is the first session of current affairs. So I will continue this session. I'll discuss. So I think you must have understood that I discuss the most important concepts of current affairs. And if we discuss all such concepts by 2024, you can really hope for a great prelims examination. And definitely, if you would definitely call us to know more, if you want any help from me, you please download LearnStroke IAS app. Definitely download and watch the free videos. And for 2025, 2024 exam, definitely we have a 150 days revision plan with targeted mentoring, test series, prelims and mains. And also for 2025, 26 and 27, please do let us know how we can be a part of this. And please also understand one more thing. Learning concepts randomly is not a good thing for prelims. Whatever we have learned around 10 to 12 topics or 15 topics today. We learned the whole concept of the topic. So when you learned it not only for the prelims, you learned it for the mains perspective also. So this will help you to crack the examination. So definitely call us for anything that you want, and very happy if you want to visit me directly. I think a lot of people in different parts of the country are actually watching this. So people who are in Kerala, if you want, Future Next IAS is our offline brand. LearnStroke IAS is our online. So definitely, if you want to visit me in Thrissur, Calicut, and Kannur, please free to contact us and book a free mentoring. We'll definitely be happy to help you all. So thank you so much for watching this session. And also one more thing, we'll have next session, and we are also having another important session. I think we'll just close it off 1 second. So in the coming days, also one more thing that I wanted to announce is in the coming days, we'll do one more thing. In the coming days, what will happen is, sorry for the slide. So in the coming days, we'll also have a direct live for MCQ practice. So please do stay tuned because in the coming week, I'll also have another live for a live prelims current affairs question discussion. I'll also put a question discussion for all of you. Okay, so thank you so much. And in this live prelims MCQ discussion, we'll actually focus on, I'll take few questions from the prelims. I'll make questions from current affairs and we'll do live. I'll come up with a live question and I'll give you 5 seconds or 10 seconds to solve this question and let's check the answer and learn the explanation. So current affairs should not be a pain problem for you in the next examination. So thank you so much for listening to this session, and uh, I think we'll go on. Thank you so much. I'm ending this session. So see you for the next important session. Take care. Bye bye. Good night and have a great night.